old cryptid myths and legends. And it is Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Uh,
I love it, bro. Hey, you got a sexy voice going on right now.
yeah, I don't know what's happening, but it's working out.
Like, you belong in the jazz radio. Like, you should be talking like this. Run it, Sasquatch, bitches. Right?
Yep, that's what we're on today, Sasquatch.
I don't believe in Sasquatch. I'm a skeptic. But my brother's going to prove me wrong today. He is a believer, and I don't know. It seems to. I feel like they would have found a dead one by now.
You know, it's crazy that I didn't find anything regarding that, but I'm not too much of a believer in Sasquatch just because it's only, I think they've only had maybe several actual good sightings. I got a few sightings I'm gonna post up and stuff for us to watch, but when it comes down to actually being a full-on believer to the Sasquatch Bigfoot theory, myth, legends, not really. That's something. And I think they're the aliens. I think they're one of the species of type of aliens that are out here. There's some kind of type of humanoid
They're watchers.
type watcher looking. All right.
Shadow watchers.
So I got a little upgrade. Been upgrading the studio little
Night
by little,
crawlers.
and we're actually gonna be able to enjoy being on both YouTube channel for these videos and have you guys open for the chat. Let's see. Here we go. We're starting off with a video with my old school homeboy. Never really met him, but I like watching his videos. Shanklin Shadow Productions. He's a Native American Navajo homie that does work in the paranormal for reservations, and him and his brother go out on a few missions to do skinwalker hunts. We one of our first episodes on skinwalkers, we actually watched one of his videos. But here we're gonna go. He's talking about Bigfoot and the Native American lore and what he knows and what he's been told in legends and stories from ancestors. So let's see what he's got to say.
And he has the video to prove it.
Spotted Bigfoot in Cleveland County, and this isn't the first time.
What's the likelihood that there are big animals that have gone undetected by scientists and by trained observers? There are lots of undiscovered things, particularly in the natural world, but they don't take the form of giant apes running around in largely settled areas of the world.
But it's safe to say that Sasquatch is not something that would even exist.
Oh, not hey everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Shanklin Shadow Productions. Now this one has been highly requested by a lot of you. I've seen it in the comments ever since that first Skinwalker video and everything, but a lot of people have been asking, what's my opinion on Bigfoot? Do I know any stories about Bigfoot? And yeah, you're talking to him. I'm a 6'5", size 14 shoe Bigfoot, you know, and everything. Is my cousins, you know. It's how that goes and everything. So I'm gonna tell you about my people. Just kidding, no. But actually, what's really cool about it is in our tribe, the Navajo, the Diné people, we do have a Bigfoot tribe out there. I forgot how to say it in Navajo, but I'm pretty sure some of you viewers out there know how to say it and spell it a lot better than I can. So put it in the comments, you know. But the thing is with Bigfoot and all that, I was told a couple stories and even had a personal experience as well with Bigfoot and everything. I was very, very young though, but when I encountered Bigfoot. Now, when I talk about Bigfoot, you know, it's one of those things to where, kind of like the Skinwalker video, there's different classifications, different factions of Bigfoot. You know, you got Abominable Snowman, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. And then each tribe has. I wouldn't say each tribe. They're more rare out there, but there are Bigfoot out there, and they have their own names for them as well. So, all you indigenous people out there, toss in the names of what you call Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, Abominable Snowman, something like that. Yeah, go for it. But so the stories that I was told about Bigfoot and everything is, if you were to go up into the Navajo Nation, more toward the mountainous regions area where there's like a lot of forests and everything, the medicinal people used to go up to those mountains to be able to provide offering to the Bigfoot people, Bigfoot tribes. There used to be songs and ceremonies to call upon them. And now the Bigfoot has kind of gotten really popular within the past couple decades, I would have to say, because, there have been a lot of sightings and a lot of videos about Bigfoot out there. And, they're always very grainy. They're always kind of very weird, but there's also videos of people on the train seeing Bigfoot. And then there's that one iconic video, this one right here, of Bigfoot being captured on camera. And, and then there's a lot of Bigfoot hunters that are out there, they find.
I was just gonna say that's like every video ever about Bigfoot, Sasquatch. It's always grainy, bad quality,
Just with
a fur ball.
yeah, just with UFOs too. Like all the UFO videos are always all grainy. You can't never get a clear picture of them. Even when you
Filmed on potatoes.
even if you zoom in on them, like it's
Like,
just,
what's going on?
There's nothing that you can actually see.
Any drone? Like, I'm surprised no, drones have gotten any footage. I'm pretty sure they go missing somehow.
Even military's gotten videos of UFOs flying around, and even their videos that they've released are whack. So let's see.
Find footprints, they find hair remains or some trees and everything. And that's something that they always say that, like, there's always a couple footprints, and they could never get like a bunch of them, or a path to where they lead and everything. But one thing that you have to understand about these beings, these Bigfoot beings, is that they are trans-dimensional beings. Like, these are beings that can change from a spiritual state to a physical state. Now, that's why, you don't have like these footprints that lead somewhere or anything like that. And a lot of times when they go into that physical state, that's when they go to collect herbs. And that's how the stories go, where when the Bigfoot people used to come here, they have a very special medicine that they have with them, and some of their songs that they have too. And sometimes they would come, if you really needed somebody to get
That's
doctored, you
insane.
would
It's
take
so
the
crazy, man.
patient to the Bigfoot clan, the
crazy.
Bigfoot people, sing the songs, and they'll come and give them medicine, or they'll sing their songs and everything. But also they come to this world to collect their herbs, their food, and everything like that as well.
Yep.
So that's just one thing, is that's why you never find like a lot of footprints or trails that lead to like a physical encampment or really anything like that. So there's a lot of sightings and a lot of stories that go with the Bigfoot people. I don't know them all, but I'm pretty sure a couple different tribes had different stories about them, how some of them are good, some of them are bad. How sometimes we used to go to war with them, or we're always peaceful with them. I've heard a bunch of different stories and everything, but this is just from my point of view. And my encounter I actually had was, we were over in a peyote meeting one time. Me and my older brother, we went out to go use the restroom one time, and while we're at the outhouse and everything, there was kind of...
The pineal gland has tiny little cilia, hair-like extensions all around.
If you can imagine, there's a bunch of trees around us.
Peyote meeting is what he called it.
Yeah.
Not session. It's not the sesh. Hey.
I guess that's just what they go with. That's just their.
It just it makes it sound so normal.
It is to them. It's a normal thing. It's something that they do.
Really?
Yeah. They do it in a religious, spiritual way. They do it together, and they try and pray for to try and reach the spirits on the other side for like guidance or teachings or other things. So peyote, they fought. The Native Americans had this huge battle, um, court law against the United States government because the United States government restricted the use of peyote as uh, like a state, or what is it, the step one or first step drug law. It's like the most offensive type.
Where it's, yeah, because it's very
Yeah,
potent,
yeah. But the
very strong.
yeah, but the Native Americans tribe all fought, trying and said that they use it for religious purposes and that they
Yeah,
use
it's
it for a
strong
bunch
as
of
fuck.
stuff. So after so many years, they ended up getting it okayed for only Native American tribes and stuff. So Native Americans can use it, ingest it, and take it for their purposes, and they are the only ones that can also grow it or cultivate it. One of the viewers wants to know, what do you know about big feet? Can you see? Can you see that?
I'm
It's right there on the right.
I see it.
Oh, okay, it's because you just kind of like looking.
I
I
just can't
wasn't
finish
sure
the
if you
whole-
knew.
Yeah, I see it. What do I know about big feet? Yeah, I know. I don't know. I'm a size 11, so I know that it goes up to size Shaq. So
It's like Shaq. That's cool.
so I'm 11. I'm I guess I'm in the middle. I'm an average Joe.
We're getting a little bit of static over here.
Yeah, it's your phone.
Yeah, I need remove.
I mean, what do you know about big feet? I know Bigfoot. You know, if Bigfoot was real, it would be. I think my biggest case is just that you would find a dead one eventually. Sometime you would find some sort of bone rise up from the earth over some avalanche. Who knows? Oh, are you getting a lot of stuff? Doing a little redecorating over here.
It's just so my phone will be away, and
That's what I'm saying.
won't do that little clicky noise. The video that I've seen of park rangers finding dead Sasquatches after fires, like wildfires and stuff, is the government comes by real quick and takes them. And there was an instance where the government was carrying a dead body. It was a helicopter flying, and the helicopter was carrying the fucking Sasquatch, and it was just like flying across. And there's a person that like recorded the video, and it's like a giant fucking humanoid creature just hanging.
I've seen some of those too. I don't know. I don't know because it feels like such a statue. It's so stiff already. Like with the way that they're being carried, and also I feel like they're not even that fast. Like with the bear, you know, they would call it bear. You know,
Bears are fast as fuck.
no, like when you kill a bear and they come and pick it up.
Oh, this is the government. This isn't.
I know you don't think a government would easily confuse that with a bear.
No, for some reason they know.
They know?
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently,
hey,
there's a special.
like, hey, we think it's a we think
No,
we got a Bigfoot, and then it's just
apparently-
a big ass bear.
Apparently, there's a special group, in the U.S. government that knows that in all of the national forests and parks, there's Sasquatches, there's Dogman, there's like fucking the Wendigo or Skinwalkers. Like they know there's shit out there. So there's this group that when they know there's people missing or they find a corpse and it's mutilated in a certain type of way, like they already know what it is. So they're aware. Like the U.S. government is aware. That's what I'm saying. Like these motherfuckers are some sort of alien species that have a treaty with the U.S. government to be in the land, like out there, like not be seen and
In America.
yeah,
Land
like,
of the free.
and it's crazy because they have like there's so many of them spotted across the country, and then like and they're running packs and shit, so pretty nutty.
Yeah, I guess there would be tribes, right? There would be groups of them. There would be more than one.
Yeah.
Would you think that would go into the underground people? They're part of that? Underground people or aliens? Also, I'm ready
That's a
to
whole
see some,
different
like,
thing.
actual footage.
For the underground people or the underground, I've heard that there's underground lizard people, and then there's another species of ant and praying mantis looking type insect humanoid aliens that live underground. So depends where you're at, like their turf, their designated areas that they live in, is the type of underground alienoid creature that you're gonna come across. It's they got reptilian lizards and they got like the ant people, and then there's these fucking like praying mantis looking type.
Ooh, praying mantis.
Yeah,
Look you up.
for sure.
All right. Does he have footage?
He's telling the story. My ADHD is gonna be going off the rails right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and. Are you down, or you want to watch this whole thing? Let's watch this whole thing. We got like another eight
down
minutes.
to skip it.
Okay, we'll come back. So this guy's just basically telling the story of the very first time he ran into a Bigfoot. But I'm gonna go ahead and skip it. I'm gonna go ahead and put on part of a show from Joe Rogan, and he's talking about pretty interesting theory of what these
Hell yeah, brother.
species could possibly be.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
You were telling me you're a Bigfoot guy?
Big Bigfoot guy.
Tell me about this.
Here's the
Well,
problem.
you grew up in an area.
Yeah.
You're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
That's Bigfoot country.
That is. I think that's the only reason I'm so into it.
Yeah.
Also, here's the thing you got to know about talking about me. It's not ever funny, and it's something I like so much that it ends up me giving you the same arguments you've heard a billion times.
Yes.
Oh, it's Gigantopithecus, came over the Asian
Right.
plain, it's a bipedal
Yep.
hominid, it's
Yep.
just, and then at the end, and everyone my friends have experienced it, Harlan Williams just experienced it when I was on his podcast. Anytime I talk about Bigfoot, it ends up with me just going, please, Joe, can you just say it's maybe a possibility? Like, that's what it always ends up being.
Yeah.
You said it's, I remember you one time going, there's nothing out there. Yeah, didn't you say that about
Hunters
Bigfoot?
don't see it. That's why I don't believe in it.
Some hunters do.
No, not many.
People that see it are usually loggers, hunters, natives, people that are out in the woods.
There's another problem. Another problem is dusk. You see things at dusk or at dawn. It's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Bears walk on two legs all the time. I have personally watched bears walk on two legs, and if I didn't know any better, and if it was a dark environment, like it was dusk, you barely can see, I would think it's Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah. But I do think Bigfoot existed.
Yeah.
There's some insane number of Native American words for Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Sasquatch is just one of them. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of Native American words for this one animal that's fake, but all the other words they have are for real animals. They don't have a bunch of dragons. They don't have like mythical creatures in Native American mythology, but they do have this one giant man thing that definitely existed.
At some point.
At 100%, Gigantopithecus was a real animal. It was 8 to 10 feet tall, bipedal hominid. It was a huge gorilla-looking primate that died off somewhere around 100,000 years ago, but they don't know really for sure.
100,000?
Yeah, but they don't know for sure. The thing about it is, it's like, if you only find fossils from 100,000 years ago, you could assume that that this animal at least lived then. But you don't know when it went extinct.
Right.
You might find some new fossil like 10 years from now. They might find some new site. And wait a minute, these are 20,000 years old, or these are 30,000 years old, or these are 50,000 years old. But either way, anatomically identical human beings have been around for 500,000 plus years, maybe even more. So, or similar human beings. So then we definitely interacted with them.
Yeah.
Or they were around when we were around.
I think they're still around. I think there's hundreds, maybe thousands.
I remember that not too long ago, apparently they found a cave with a bunch of bones, and these bones are like of giant people. And a lot of these giant people that they supposedly find could be the species of Bigfoot people.
Where was this? What location? Here in America?
Yeah, in America. Majority of
Where is the location of Bigfoot lore? You said Pacific Northwest. I really thought it was more like mid.
No,
like
they're northern,
like Colorado and shit.
They can come as far like pretty down in the Rockies, but they're more northern. Utah, supposedly Utah is like the heart. Utah, northern, Wyoming,
or like the Appalachian Mountain, like.
Appalachian Mountain has other shit out there, but yeah, there can be up Tennessee, Kentucky area.
Run it.
That's what I believe. I think they're in caves or something, or maybe it's.
You know what the problem with that is?
What?
They're too big. The amount of food that they would need to eat.
Yeah.
You'd have to be grazing all day long. See, if you're Bigfoot.
Posted in.
Yeah, for real. Like the way that bears have to scavenge for food, and the way that they're tracked, you would be finding like patterns of a Bigfoot feeding somewhere.
But Bigfoot are more wary. They're more conscious of humans, and so they go even further into the wilderness. So the people that come across these Bigfoot people, they're running into the Bigfoot people fucking hundreds of miles into the backcountry where there's no sign of any civilization at all. Like the sign of running into another human being out there is zero, like that. So they eat deer, they eat anything that they can scavenge, nuts, fruits, berries, like bears out there, like. So they're meant to be ambivores, so they eat both meat and fruit and veggies and shit. So like their diet is big, and they got, yeah, dude, like they're able to do it, and they stay away from people more than anything.
I stay away from people.
The Journal of Zoology this month.
If it's there, could it be a bear?
They're saying it's black bear, American black bear.
Yeah, American black bear that stands up.
But even
Yeah,
little
that's what I'm
kids
saying.
would know the difference between a monkey and a bear.
No. First of all, let me tell you something. If you're in the woods and you're in a heightened state because you're looking around, you don't know what's out there. It's all thick woods. It's weird. Woods are weird.
Yeah.
And you see something, you could trick your brain. I saw a squirrel, and for like 2 or 3 seconds, I thought it was a wolf.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real. That's real between here.
I'm seeing something moving in between thick trees, and I see gray fur. I'm like, oh my God, is that a wolf?
Yeah.
Because there's wolves out there.
Right.
I'm in Canada. I'm like, oh no, it's a fucking squirrel. What the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong with me?
Shoot it.
Yeah. It's like people see what they want to see.
Yeah.
And the problem is you get something into someone's head, a mythological thing, whether it's a UFO or whether it's Bigfoot. I think it's I think the world is way more slippery than we like to think. And I think there's states of consciousness that people can achieve during high anxiety levels, definitely during the use of psychedelic drugs.
Yes.
Sometimes during weird states in their life, like near-death experiences, loss of a loved one, extreme emotion, a lot going on, a lot of anxiety and fear, like you would have if you're in the woods.
Sure.
And then you
You're on edge.
see a light across the sky. And it might have been just a meteorite.
Right.
But you're in the wrong headspace to see that meteorite. And you just freak. You just freak.
Yeah.
And maybe for a brief moment, you can see something that's been there all along.
You know how defeated I am right now. I just want you to tell
Bigfoot?
me, like, dude, there's some
I wanna
crazy,
believe in
crazy
Bigfoot.
stuff out there.
I've interviewed a lot of Bigfoot people.
Yeah.
I had one joke I used to do about Bigfoot. Here's what you don't find when you go looking for Bigfoot. Black people. You're more likely to find Bigfoot than you are black people looking for
They're
Bigfoot.
not out there.
It's a bunch of unfuckable white guys out camping. That's like
That is the thing.
It's a community of people that want to believe something that there's zero evidence for, and they're fucking locked in.
Yeah, they're hitting a tree with a stick, going like, "We're gonna wait for a knockback," and it's different Bigfoot researchers hitting a different tree, talking back to them.
Yeah, it's like if you go to public land elk hunting, there's a bunch of people elk calling. You think, oh, I heard an elk. It's a dude with
It's
a
another
tube.
guy. Elk, two men doing elk calls.
Exactly, to each other.
Across
That
a ridge.
literally happens.
I bet.
It does, 100%. It's one of those things where I wish it was real. I
Me
wish
too.
Bigfoot was real. Bobcat Goldthwait believes.
Yeah, he loves it.
He's all in. Did you ever watch Willow Creek?
I didn't piss me off because at the end it turns out to be, I'm gonna spoil a Willow Creek, but at the end it's just a bunch of like hillbillies out there killing and blaming it on Bigfoot. Basically, that's like the end is
Wait a
like
minute, which one are you talking about?
You don't really.
Bobcat
There's no
Goldthwait's
big
movie.
I think that's what the end is. That like it's just some crazy people that live in the woods. It's not really a Bigfoot.
Is that true?
I think that's the end of Willow Creek.
I don't remember how it ends.
Because they kind of have this one kind of like Blair Witch like shot, and it's just a bunch of mountain people, which is the scariest thing you'll find in the woods. People.
Well, that's that.
People that want to be off that grid. People
There's that documentary Sasquatch. Did you ever see that? It's like a documentary series.
Yeah, and it turns out just to be the cartel.
Yeah. It's
not the cartel, but like weed people.
Weed people killing other.
Blaming it on a Bigfoot, framing it to look like a Bigfoot's out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they killed somebody, and apparently when marijuana was, when they were growing it up there, these hippies started arming themselves.
Yeah.
And then they had rival gang wars with people that would come in and try to steal their crop.
Sure.
So they started shooting at each other.
That's a crazy ass shit right there. We need to go watch that documentary because that was pretty interesting. But yeah, he basically spoke about the main thing that I wanted you guys to hear, that one Joe Rogan thinks is just a bunch of different stories and myths and people making stuff up because the story of Bigfoot's been going on for a long time. And the other dude does believe that there's different certain type of species that live in caves and underground and that just live a nomadic lifestyle, just fucking on the move all the time. Never really settle in one place or stay somewhere for too long.
Yeah, I believe Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's right all the time. He's the best. No, he is the best, honestly. But I don't believe everything he says. Also,
Well, Joe Rogan's have had a lot of people on his podcast that have seen, experimented, and tested a lot of theories. So he has a really good understanding and a lot of knowledge out there of the unknown. But he hasn't yet experienced the Bigfoot. And he also didn't believe in ghosts and the paranormal until he started experiencing it himself, and then he started believing. So, Joe Rogan is, I'm a believer until it happens, and until then, I'm a skeptic because science,
That's how I am.
Science otherwise will prove it. So, that's the good way to be because can't always believe just shit you see. You gotta have scientific fucking proof that it's there. So
yeah, it really goes down to I really know what's around me. You only know
what up, homie
you only
Leo?
know,
Thanks for joining in.
Leo don't know shit.
Talking
bro.
about fucking Sasquatches and Bigfoot. Well, they're the same thing, however you want to call them. But that's what we're on right now.
Leo is Sasquatch.
Leo is the Sasquatch.
Leo's the Bigfoot hiding behind the window, just staring back. But he actually says hello.
Let's see. What else we got?
Miss you, Leo.
This is another podcasters group that I like to watch. They're also talking about this old story that happened. I believe this story that they're talking about is part of the 411 story. David Politis, the author and detective of the missing 411.
I'm going to tell you guys a little story.
Please. Oh, inside
Have
dirt.
you heard the story of Catherine Van Alt?
Don't think so.
Don't think so?
All right. Well, it may not be known to the general public, but click on that, Kyle.
The Reddit?
I just want to see exactly how old she was.
I don't know.
8 years old.
Peter's
okay.
allowed on here
so
anymore.
in the Ozarks, right?
Yeah.
Catherine Van Alt.
Let me try to fix something really quick. Doesn't give me other settings. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and play it then.
Is an 8-year-old girl. She goes on a vacation with her family. Mom, dad, I think 2 siblings.
Okay.
At least one. Little 8-year-old Catherine is in her bathing suit. The family's fishing like by this little dam in the Ozarks, in a
Lovely.
part of the Ozarks called Devil's Den. I don't know if it's a national park or state park.
State Park, Devil's Den State Park. I
Okay,
know
so they're at the Devil's Den. They're fishing off this little dam. Catherine is frolicking and swimming. She goes missing. Literally, the family's like, we just turned around. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Huge search is launched. There's hundreds, if not thousands of volunteers searching for this little girl. She's discovered alive, sleeping in a cave. Or she was not, sorry, she wasn't sleeping. She was in this cave.
Yeah.
Like some large amount of miles and like 3,000 feet of elevation up from where she went
8-year-old
missing.
girl.
8-year-old, still
have heard
in her
this story
bathing
before.
suit.
Yeah.
And it gets cold at night during this time of year.
Yeah.
It's like warm enough during the day to swim, but like, in the 50s or something. at
Sure,
night.
sure.
She's in a cave that has drinkable fresh water.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very sort of confused about what happened. But one of the things she says was that every night she would sleep in the warm grass.
At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot.
Okay. What do people take that detail and extrapolate it to be?
He was sleeping with a warm, furry animal.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. It's pointed to in the Ozarks as evidence of a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Really?
There's no
Scooped her up.
Yeah, there's no way she could have survived. There's no way she could have gone 3,000. And one thing that is interesting is that like the path from point A to point B is like pretty treacherous.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Like no
She was
8-year-old
barefoot,
would just
too.
walk
Oh,
it.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
barefoot.
wouldn't have walked 10 miles up 3,000 feet, found a freshwater source.
Right.
There's no way.
She's 8.
And
you
what
know,
does this
like-
warm grass thing mean?
Right.
She must have been aided by a mysterious Sasquatch.
Oh, my God.
Was there any? Do you know if there was anything more to it? Like, did she ever come out years later and say, "I remembered this"? Or?
Never came out years later. I can't remember if she's still alive. If she is, she's like in her 90s now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That long ago, huh?
Yeah, it was I think in the 40s or something like that. But
That's crazy.
But anyway, it is a very intriguing story.
Very.
And I do find it interesting. I think the Sasquatch thing is hilarious.
Right.
The fact that they deemed it that it was Sasquatch
because she's
In the missing 411 stories, majority of the people that go missing, or the children that go missing and are found alive, say that they're taken by a gorilla man or a big hairy man. Like,
what if they're told to say that?
By who?
Whoever kidnapped them.
There's these are little kids.
Whoever they paid the ransom to.
These are little kids though. These little kids don't understand the concept of you need not tell the truth. Like they're gonna talk of what they see, and these are like kids from like 4 to 8 years old, 9 years old, that have these stories and have these fucking memories of these wild things or creatures and stuff that snatched them up and took off running and like.
Said she was sleeping in the warm grass.
But also,
at
how
night.
did she even get there, right? Because the idea, correct me if I'm wrong, is that this thing scooped her up and took her there.
Yeah, it must have been helping her. She wouldn't have, how would she have known that this was the place to drink the fresh water?
Right.
And what does it mean by warm grass?
Yeah.
Not that it abducted her, but that she wandered into the woods and it helped her survive.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever have just this? I don't know. This could be some ist of some sort. I don't know if it's prejudice in any way, but I'm era-ist. Like, if it happened in the 1940s and people believed it, I'm automatically just like, nah, it's shit.
Oh, I'm like the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. If it happened then and people believe it, I'm like, it's probably credible. Whereas if it happens now, I'm like, it's a
I mean,
brother.
it was covered extensively by the local papers and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So it was like the girl was missing, 3 days in, they're like, hope is lost. Like the father did interviews and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then they found her. It feels, I think the details that I just laid out are completely accurate. The two things I don't remember exactly was how many miles it was.
Yeah.
But I think it was almost a week.
Kyle's got something.
Yeah, it said that they were searched for about 6 days until someone finally found her. They were just walking past the cave and she appeared and just kind of waved at him from the cave. And
That would creep me out.
It was
little girl in a cave.
It said that it was. It said that she was 7 air miles away from where she was originally last seen.
Very far.
But it said that it's suspected that she walked an estimated 30 miles, zigzagging through harsh, steep, treacherous terrain.
Oh wow, that's even more compelling.
So Forrest, apparently it's not a Sasquatch.
You're saying there's information that came out?
No. Just how did it happen? What happened?
It's not a Sasquatch.
How did an 8-year-old in a bikini, or let's presume a one piece?
How did it happen?
And no
The
shoes.
Slutty 1940s 8-year-old.
Let's not picture that.
And no shoes. Do this.
Yeah, so she obviously wandered off, got lost, kept wandering because she was 8, terrified, alone, whatever, or just frankly clueless, found a cave, just started drinking water because there was water, not being told that it was clear and fresh and acceptable. And then, yeah, my guess would be as far as the warm grass, there was probably either Ozarks 1940s. I mean, probably a bear, to be quite honest. Bears are much more, they're fantastic parents. They're very protective. They're very compassionate animals. Probably a little black bear. Little black bear Sal that was
cuddled up with her.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. Could have even been a coyote. Could have even been a fox. But I would think I would not find it unreasonable to think of an adult female black bear sow looking at a small child and thinking that it could help it and feed it.
Interesting. It's much more plausible than Bigfoot.
Yes, one exists, the other may not, or likely doesn't.
It's more plausible, but it's still like a long stretch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
an
for
8-year-old
sure.
survived by cuddling with a wild
But
bear.
I mean, if this happened and the newspapers are accurate, this did happen. I mean, the whole story's a stretch. So it had to have been something, you know?
What year did you say this was?
40?
What year was it, Kyle? Like 45?
When did Prohibition end?
1946.
What time? Or what
Prohibition ended, I think, at the end of the 20s, right?
Yeah, the 20s.
And this was 1946?
Yeah.
So here's why I asked that. Because in the Ozarks was a hot spot for moonshining during Prohibition.
Oh, yeah.
And you could absolutely see some toothless moonshiner that had a rig in a cave being, and obviously not if Prohibition was already over, but being like, come here, little girl, and giving her skins and stuff to sleep in and stay warm. You know, and then people are coming and he's pushing her out the cave door, basically.
I've seen Deliverance, dude. I know what goes on.
Have you explored the Ozarks much?
Only a little bit. We did a couple a few day horse camping trip in the Ozarks.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I've never
Beautiful.
been. I mean, it's
Where's that? Where's the Ozarks?
The Ozarks. He said it at the very beginning. I forgot.
Quick Google.
Let's ask Google real quick.
I can do that.
Let's see. Yeah, man, these are, like I said, there's stories from that go back for the 1940s, and even stories that go back before that into the 1800s still.
Number 15, Independence Day site.
Some mountain range in between Arkansas and Missouri.
Arkansas and Missouri. Crazy. Let's see. I think it was this one. This one was pretty interesting. So I'm gonna play this video, but before I do, they've apparently recorded what the Bigfoot sounds like and what their calls are like. So I'm gonna fucking put it up and let you guys hear it. So this is apparently what Bigfoot or the Sasquatch sounds like, and it's a bunch of different noises, like howling noises, and also
that was kind of that was cute.
They hit
cute little.
They use like these. They use tree branches to hit the trunks of the trees, kind of in a drumming way.
You know.
And I don't know about the knocking. They probably smack the trees and stuff because it's super fucking loud. Watch, check this shit out, you guys.
Where do you think the phrase "knock on wood" comes from? Sasquatch.
No. There's a whole thing. It's like witchcraft or some shit like that.
We're in for Nightville.
Sounds like good shots.
It's them hitting tree trunks.
Bro, they just vibing.
That's how they communicate with us. Sound like apes. They sound like apes.
What are you trying to talk to this?
Mating ritual.
It's just their communication, their form of communication.
Have the rhythm.
So they
It sounds
like
they laugh. Is that laughing?
They sound like they're talking in human voice, but there's no actual words for it.
Sounds like they're just laughing and shit.
Yeah, that's what they fucking sound like. So you were walking in the woods, and then you hear that shit, you fucking better run, because they know you're there. They're calling the rest of the homies to let them know you're there, or they're letting their homies know that they're at a certain location, you're at a certain location, and their homies are about to circle you and close in on you.
Bro, it sounds like a legit gang.
Dude, you'd be surprised. I think we got time for one more video. This one, I really want to watch it through because it's actually pretty interesting.
Down to his deer lease, and he told me, oh, by the way, there's Bigfoots out here. I'm like, oh, really? He said, yeah. The guy's believable. He's a friend of mine. Next thing you know, we walk out onto the property and wood knock. He said, you hear that? I said, yeah. He said, that was a squatch. That was a wood knock. Well, I've heard of wood knocks. I said, for real? And all of a sudden I heard another one. And all of a sudden there was three different directions. And he was adamant. I said, well, I'll be dang, man. So he made one whoop at him and one whoop back. And I said, you are kidding me. Whatever. And we just went on about our business. But, you know, that's in the back of your mind then, you know. A few days go past, we go back out there to go hunting, and we separate, and I'm walking down a wide open levee top. And right next to it is the woods. And I look up ahead of me, and in the water, we have these white birds we call egrets, cattle egrets. Well, there's some real light, puffy, downy feathers floating up on top of the water, and the slightest breeze is scooting across it. Wow, that's fresh. And I looked over there, I seen one of them big birds, and the first thing went in my mind, I said, oh my God, something short enough must have been hungry to eat that rascal. And the closer I got, I'm like, my God. And
he was gonna say, eat that fucker. He held back.
It looked like it had been sleeved on the neck. I thought, well, I just scared something off. It's still wet, it's still bleeding. I walk a little further and there's something pacing me in the trees. I'd stop, it'd stop. I'd walk a little further, it'd walk a little further. Well, I'm not looking over there. I'm hearing it, and I always pretend like I don't see or hear anything. So whatever it's doing, it will keep doing it until I can figure it out. And it kept pacing me till finally I got alarmed enough. You know, I swung that gun around and pointed it at the trees and told them, you know, if you're in there, you need to come out because I'm going to shoot you. And nobody said a word, so I just kept walking, and it finally stopped. I turned a corner and went up a high line, and I get a phone call from my buddy. He says, you need to come over here. I said, what is going on? He said, there's something pacing me in the woods. Huh? Well, that just happened to me. Well, I come blistering out of them trees. I didn't run, but I come on out of them trees and went way around, and I got down there, and sure enough, he's doing the same thing I was doing. He's doing like this, and he turned his gun over there. Well, it got down to a ditch. I stepped out onto the pipeline, and he looked up, and it stopped. Well, he walked maybe 15, 20 feet and waited on me. I was a good 300 feet from him. We talked about it. I said, well, it was on this side of the pipeline? He said, yes. I said, well, it had to cross. Let's go back behind you and look. And sure enough, we went back there, and I looked, and there was a footprint about that big and about that wide that I could put my number 12 Red Wing boot down into and not touch the sides. Still had water running into it. Every other puddle around there was clear except that one. And that's where it had stepped and crossed over. And I realized then, oh my God, something was really out there. And that was the first OMG moment that I had with the Sasquatches.
Stories of Sasquatch.
That's how it is, dude. They fucking walk up to you and they take you.
It was the homie on the other side, and he was just scaring him. It was the first time on his land. So I'm gonna fuck with them.
No, but it's crazy. They're just everywhere. There's stories everywhere of the fucking Sasquatch and Bigfoot and stuff. If you guys are interested in reading books about it, either the Missing 411 is a really good book. This book that's here, Bigfoot South, should be pretty good.
Looks like a textbook.
So it should have a lot of stories. It says examining cryptozoology's greatest mystery in the southern United States.
It doesn't even look like a Bigfoot. I don't know. It just looks like a character from Planet of the Apes.
It's a gorilla-looking type with pretty similar facial features.
That's Caesar's cousin.
That's his
Juan.
That's his lineage. That's his lineage right there.
still waiting on
That's it though. That's it for today. We just fucking chilled, watched a few lore video regarding Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Yeti, depending the time of season, because apparently their fur turns white during winter. That way they're harder to spot. Some kind of animal defense mechanism. There's several animals that do that during wintertime. Their regular coat sheds, and they grow this white hair, white fur. Also, go ahead and check us out on YouTube. Go ahead and upload all of our videos up there, so you're not able to come in and see the live stream. Go ahead and jump over. If you have any ideas, or you have any stories, or you want to share something, or even if you're willing to be able to participate.
A modern day honesty podcast.